to the class of design of steel structure. We are learning design of beams. So far we have learned how to design laterally supported beams. In today's lecture we are going to see laterally unsupported beams, the design and the problems. So I am Mr. S. S. Sogule, Assistant Professor, Civil Engineering Department. So design of laterally unsupported beam. When the compression flange of the beam is laterally unsupported, the compression flange may buckle sideways, leading to the failure at the elastic limit or even below it. So the beams with the equal flanges, the design of laterally unsupported beam with equal flanges, that is I section, channel section, etc., is essentially a matter of trial and error since the section dimensions are not known until the trial section is selected. It is therefore necessary to assume a section in order to compute the allowable stresses. The design procedure is as follows. First, ascertain the load which can be expressed on the beam. Compute the maximum bending moment and the maximum force in the beam. Compute the modulus of section for the beam by this formula, that is Z equals to M divided by sigma bend BC or T, that is Z is the section of modulus required, M is the maximum bending moment in Newton mm, sigma BC or T, that is reduced permissible bending stress in compression. So it should be less than this 0.66 Fy. So this from steel table you have to find the suitable section providing the suitable modulus of section. Note the various properties of the selected section, the ratio of T by T and D1 by T are calculated, and the appropriate table, that is for steel of given yield stress, is selected from the this IS4 800, and then calculate the permissible bending stress. The permissible bending stress in the compression is found corresponding to the calculated values of d by t and L by Ry. So we have discussed all these things in earlier. Then for this, the permissible bending stresses in compression and subsequently the moment of resistance, that is Mr of the section, is computed by moment of resistance equal to sigma Bc into Z. The moment of resistance thus calculated should be more than the moment over the section. Then the beam is checked for shear and beam is checked for the deflection. Now, so this is the particular case, beams with the equal flanges. So in exam, these kind of problems may be there. And next case is of design of the beams with unequal flanges. So the step 1 to 4 are same as we have seen in design of beams with equal flanges. So moving further, then the elastic critical stress FB is calculated using the following equation, that is FB equals to K1 into X plus K2 into Y, that is C2 divided by C1, where the K1, K2, X, C1, C2 that has been defined in the code. Then for the calculated values of Fb and the selected values of Fy, the value of permissible bending stress in compression is found in the table. Then compute the maximum moment of resistance of the section, which should be more than the maximum moment. The beam is again checked for the shear and the deflection. So you'll see all these things in the code. So here we have this formula, that is elastic critical stress, uh, that is FCB equals to K1 into X plus K2 into Y, C2 divided by C1. How to calculate this X and Y has been given over here. This K1 and K2 values has been given uh, as per this table 6.3. Yeah, those values has been given. This K1 and K2 values has been given. So by using all these things, we have to calculate the this FCB. and then by calculated value of FCB and Fy, we have to calculate the permissible bending stress, which is given over here, that is table number 6.2. So here you will get the values of sigma BC, and then we can compute the moment of resistance as per this formula, that is this formula, and again the checking will be done for the same. So this is the procedure for design of beams with unequal flanges. Most of the times in exam they will ask about the beams with equal flanges. So now we will discuss the problem. Now the design a beam of 5-meter effective span carrying a UDL of 20 kilonewton per meter, which is excluding sulfate if compression flange is laterally unsupported. The span is L, that is 5 meters, load is 20 kilonewton per meter. Let the sulfate, we will assume the sulfate, that is 600 Newton per meter. So the design load will become 20 plus zero point 0.6, that is 20.6 kilonewton per meter. So we'll calculate the maximum bending moment, that is WL square by 8. Uh, so maximum bending moment WL square by 8, 20.6 into 10 raised to 3 into 5 into 10 raised to 3 square. So divided by 8 into 10 raised to 3. So we'll get the value, that is 64,375 into 10 raised to 3, or 64.375 into 10 raised to 6 Newton mm. Then maximum shear force, that is V equals to WL by 2, that is 20.6 into 10 raised to 3 into 5 divided by 2. So we'll get the value of 51.5 into 10 raised to 3 newtons. So we'll go for the section modulus. So what we'll get is Z, required Z is 390.227 into 10 raised to 3. So we will go for the section, that is ISMB 350. So the properties we have ISMB 350, so it is like this. ISMB 350, this is the value of ZXX, it is 778. So we required the section modulus 390, but we are choosing the bigger section. So this is 778.9 into 10 raised to 3, and remaining values are like this. This is the thickness of line, this is the thickness of web, this is overall depth, then H2 RYY and D1 has been given over here. So D minus 2H by 2, that is D1 we have calculated. So D by D, so D we have here, that is 350 overall depth, divided by T, that is this 14.2. So we'll get is 24.64. Then L by RYY, L is 5 into 10 raised to 3, that is effective span, divided by RYY, that is 28.4, we'll get 776.05. Then T by T, that is 14.2 divided by this 8.1, so you'll get 1.75, which is lesser than 2, and d1 by d, that is 288 divided by 8.1, so 35.555, which is again lesser than 85. So as the t by t is lesser than 2 and t1 by t is lesser than 85, we will refer the table number 6.1.b in IS code. 6.1.b in this particular code. So for Fy equals to 250 and d by t 24.64 and 176.05. 24.64, that is in between these two, and 176.05. 176.05. So it is in between these four values. It is 98, 89, 94, 85. 98, 89, 94, 85. So we have to take these values and we have to interpolate it twice. Then we will get the final value that I have already calculated. So that value becomes 87.32 Newton per mm square. So by using this sigma BC value, we are going to calculate the moment of resistance, that is this sigma BC into this Z. So Z 778.9. So by multiplying it, we'll get 868.013 into 10 raised to 3, which is greater than 64.375. This 64.375, so which is safe. Now we will solve the same problem by using method of unequal flange. So the elastic critical stress in the formula has been given. FCB is equals to K1 into X plus K2 into Y, that is into C2 divided by C1. So this psi is equals to 1, as the areas of both the flanges at the point of least and maximum bending moment are the same. So as we can see, we have the bending moment like this. So this is the bending moment, that is at the mid span. Supports are here. At the mid span, it is WL square by 8. So if we consider, here we have the least bending moment and here we have the maximum bending moment at the mid span. So section over here and section over here are the same. That's why we are taking this thing as a 1. So let me show you. So for this psi is equals to 1, K1 is equals to 1. So as you can see over here, the coefficient allow a reduction in thickness or breadth using flanges using between the points of effective lateral distance and depend upon the ratio of total area of the both flanges at the point of least bending moment to the corresponding area of the greatest bending moment between such points of restraint. So this is the value of Za. So from that we will find the K1. So from this table number 6.3, we'll get for Za equals to 1, K1 equals to 1. Now, so W is equals to 1 by 2. So what is this? That is omega, not W, that is omega. So this K2, the coefficient allows the inequality in flanges and depend upon the omega. Omega is the ratio between the moment of inertia of the compression flanges to that the sum of the moment of inertia of the total flanges. So here we have the equal flanges, that's why we are taking omega as a 1 by 2. That is, if we consider this thing, that is, so section is like this, and half side is in the compression, that is this part in the compression, this part in the tension. So the area of this under compression, this is the ratio of this area under compression to the entire area. So basically we are having the same area over here, so that's why it is 1 by 2. The ratio of moment of inertia of the compression flange alone to the sum of the moment and inertia of the both the flanges. So here you can see this is the compression flange and this is the total, so that becomes this zero point 0.5. So from this table number 6.4, table number 6.4, for this zero point 0.5 we will get the K2 equals to 0. So again from the table 6.5, for the ratio of d by 2 that we have already calculated, and L by Rx by Y, that is 176.05, we will get X and Y 24 and 176. X and Y value 24, that is in between these, and 165 I think. So we will get again these four values. That is for X these four values, and for Y it should be in between 92 to 104. 92 to not 90, 176, sorry. So this is in between somewhere over here, and this is 82 to 92. So by interpolation we'll get the values of this X, that is 161.85, which is we will get by the double interpolation by between those four values, and for Y we'll get directly with the single interpolation, that is 82 to 92, and here for this we have to interpolate between these four values. So again we'll put all these things into the formula, that is formula for this FCB. We'll get 1 into 161, that is X, plus 0 into 85 into 1, so we'll get 161.85 is the value of this FCB. So the value of this FCB is increased if the d by t ratio is less than 85 and t by t is less than 2. So again we are increasing this thing, so that becomes 194.22. The value of FCB is increased when the t by t is not greater than 2 and d is not greater than this value. So by increasing 20% we'll get 194.22. Then again from the table, that is for FY and FCB, which is this one. So for FY equals to 250 and the value of FCB is 194. 194, that should be between 85 to 88 somewhere. So we'll get sigma BC, that is 87.84, again by the interpolation, and then finally movement of resistance, that is 87.84, that is 2778.9 into 10 raised to 3. So we'll get 68.418 into 10 raised to 6, which is greater than 64.375 Newton per mm. Hence it is okay. Now check for shear, that is tau we calculated, that is this maximum shear that we already calculated over a 51.5 into 10 raised to 3. So the 51.5 into 10 raised to 3 divided by this 350 into 8.1, which is again this thickness of the web and the depth. So what we'll have is 18.165, which is lesser than 0.4 fy, hence okay. And now check for the deflection, which is L by 325, that is 5 into 10 raised to 3 divided by 325, which becomes 15.38. So the calculated value of deflection is 5 by 384 into W raised to 4 divided by EI. By putting all the values, we will get the value of deflection is 6.149, which is lesser than the 15.38. Hence, the section is okay. So this is all for today's lecture. Again, the references for today's lecture is Design of Steel Structure by S.K. Duggal. Then we have referred the IS 800 1984 and the steel table. So thank you.